Welcome to challenge number 4 from the IDEA project, addressing the accessibility of your co-working. Open the doors to accessibility in your co-working community.
Bonjour, I am Yvan Poussier, the CEO and co-founder of AIDA Coworking, a women-purposed co-working space in creation in the suburbs of Paris in France. And during my investigation about the women-focused co-working movement across Europe, I became interested in inclusion and diversity more broadly, and I saw this month's challenge as an opportunity to learn more about accessibility from the perspective of someone who is really new in the industry. Together with David, we are running a working group about accessibility within the European Co-working Assembly.
Hello, my name is David O'Coyman and I am the CEO and founder of Do Company, inventor of The Nook, which is a family of pods, booths and shelters designed for introverts and people on the spectrum to find an oasis of calm in this noisy world. My passion and purpose is to help people see the power of neuro-inclusivity, including every type of mind, because I personally believe that in designing for the extremes, we create benefits for the mean. In other words, for everybody. The co-working industry is one of the most active industries in advocating for an inclusive and diverse environment. Driving a strong campaign against any form of discrimination, the co-working community is also pushing to provide accessibility to everyone. An inclusive and accessible workplace which supports everyone to thrive delivers a valuable component of the co-working spirit.
And a key element of an inclusive working environment is that it should feel safe. Safe in the practical sense and also in regard to one's sense of self, being open to be oneself, feeling supported, and that the community regards you as a valued peer in all your wonderful idiosyncratic nuance and personal requirements. Accessibility plays a key role in this. Done badly, it forms barriers, literal and psychological, to inclusivity. Poor accessibility is often invisible to those seemingly unaffected by it, but it can be the making or breaking of a component which makes co-working what it is, community.
Yeah, indeed. And to achieve the community that we crave, to be advocates for inclusivity and diversity, in order to shape the new way of working and, in fact, to set the tone for the change that we want to see in the world, addressing accessibility is one of the strongest and most enduring, meaningful exercises that we can undertake. The word accessibility itself means the quality of being able to be reached or enter. But what do we actually mean when we talk about accessibility? Accessibility encompasses many concerns and should not be limited to what the regulation requires and its visible aspect. Accessibility to and around a venue, visual and hearing accessibility, cognitive accessibility, and neurodiversity. And what about aging members who are more likely to face some forms of disabilities or impairments over time?
This is why this challenge is the first attempt to frame an ongoing process to reflect and ignite a discussion empowering co-working leaders and members to build accessible communities in a sound, meaningful, and also sustainable way. We've broken it down into 3 segments as a means of opening up the discussion. First, physical accessibility. Second, accessing services. And finally, empowering of others.
So if we take that first one, physical accessibility, this looks at the physical aspects of the experience from arriving at a space through all aspects of its use. This section can include, by way of example, signage, illumination, color contrast, even flooring. It could take into consideration permanent, temporary, and circumstantial needs. For example, wheelchair use or ease of use with a child carriage. But also think about an amputee. Now think about somebody with a broken arm or a person carrying a child, all of whom have related needs in a moment.
And then we will review accessing services, the second part, evaluating the accessibility of information and communication relating to the service being provided. This can include things such as whether web accessibility standards are being adhered to, if publications are available in accessible formats, whether forms can be filled in through accessible software, access to sign language services, disability education for staff, whether guide dogs are allowed, if reasonable adjustment of workspace is committed to.
Now, at this point, I'd just like to highlight neurodiversity as a valuable opportunity of designing for those extreme requirements that I mentioned in order to unlock the possible. Consider the open workspace. The one size fits all approach can at times create significant obstacles for neurodivergent individuals, be that ADHD, dyslexia, autism, other neurological states. Introverts also can struggle, and simply the tasks which require deep work and focus, often the facilities aren't there. This counts as much for how your place in the physical space meets your needs and communicates your availability, as it does for the culture of openness and the guidance and cues which exist, which could be used to communicate our personal state of mind, but without having to explain.
And finally, accessibility is also a matter of empowering of others. As a co-working leader, you are not alone. So how do you allow members to share their needs and potential concerns along the way and shape a collective approach to improving accessibility as an ongoing horizontal process? How do we build an atmosphere of willingness, of care, and support, which can start with the smallest self-contained act of reporting a concern for myself or for another member, for example, and grow to a self-evolving ecosystem?
Indeed, to sum it up, if I may, in this challenge, what we hope to create is a catalyst for you to start a process and open a door, in fact, to improve your co-working experience according to your own priorities, whether you sit in a co-working organization or as a user of co-working yourself. It can focus on a personal experience, be based around the current community, or it could lean into an aspiration to open the community up to new members.
And finally, we also acknowledge we come from a place of privilege. I'm speaking on my behalf and on David's behalf as temporarily able bodies. However, we are committed to discussing and learning on the way and would like to express our gratitude to all the experts and citizen experts we have met and will meet in the future. In particular, we would like to mention the contributions of Tash Thomas from European Co-working Assembly, from Elena Giroli from Creative Works in London, from Nadine Obermeyer and Roy Tal from Motion Labs in Berlin, and of course, Ashley Proctor.
So we've prepared a checklist for you to start your conversation around accessibility. This tool is meant to be a starting point for an internal overview and to launch a meaningful conversation with your members and peers. We've listed some items as starting points for conversations. This should not be seen as a box ticking exercise. It's rather an opportunity to ask questions, to report challenges that you're facing, to investigate issues and opportunities together with your community, and to build momentum towards improvement.
So thank you for listening. We hope you find interest and inspiration in this month's challenge and are really looking forward to discussing it with you during one of the future video calls, whether it be with the London Co-working Assembly or during the conversation at the end of the month.
Yeah, and thank you from me too. So please check out the blog, which contains some helpful tips and some more information. Do feel free to reach out to us. And in the meantime, go take that challenge.
Yeah. Bye-bye.